grab a drink and get comfy because today we are chatting all about my 2025 writing schedule. I did a video just like this last year where I plotted out all of my writing goals and plans for 2024. And now that the new year is coming up, we are going to be doing the same exact thing for 2025. If you're new here, my name is Brielle. I'm currently working on what is going to be my self-publishing debut duology. The first book is titled Unraveling. It is a new adult fantasy with enemies to lovers romance and dystopian vibes. I have not fully mapped out this year yet, nor have I made an adjusted publishing schedule in months. So I'm really excited to see how this year is going to shake out. My goal is to really move towards the goal of self-publishing my debut. So that's what we're really going to be focused on for the year of 2025 in terms of my writing goals and plans. I made an entirely new Notion page for this, so we're going to get into all of that. But before we can talk about the exciting new goals and all of that, I think it's important that we take a look at 2024, how that year went, what did I fulfill, what did I not fulfill, and what am I going to be taking with me into the new year as learnings moving forward. Okay, let's take a look. So last year, this is what our writing plans page looked like. I did this breakdown of the year in quarters, which is interesting, definitely different than what I've decided to do this year. You can kind of already tell just from like the brief glimpse of what's happening on this page that the first 6 months of the year are checked off. I achieved those goals. And then the second half of the year did not go as according to plan. So the plan was to finish draft 2 in Q3 and then finish draft 3 in Q4. I'm still on draft 2, so that clearly did not go as planned. I wish I'd kept better track of what I did actually accomplish each month so that I can really give a diagnosis of what happened here. I think I just didn't quite have a grasp on my revising pace when I set these goals, which is fair. I had never revised a book before, and there was really no way for me to know for sure how long that was going to take. So I want to give myself grace there. I was trying to set goals with very little information to go off of, but now I feel like I have a better picture of the amount of time that the different steps of the process require of me. I also think I'm just a lot more equipped this year to have a more successful writing year because I've worked in 2024 on making writing a more consistent habit, putting habits and strategies into place to help me write consistently. And I think that's really going to serve me well in 2025. So we're not going to linger on this too much. Essentially, I got done what I wanted to get done in the first half of the year. I'm currently on part 2 of draft 2, so I'm working on what I was supposed to be doing in August. So definitely fell behind by a few months. And with that in mind, of course, it's going to affect my publishing timeline. Goals aside, here's some quick writing stats from my year. So I ended up writing, like drafting, 66,306 words this year, which feels great. About half of that was in book 1 and about half of that was in book 2. I also revised 47,124 words. That's how far into draft 2 I am. So that means in total, I worked through about 100K plus of material, whether that was drafting or revising, which feels really cool. From a YouTube perspective, I posted 47 videos this year. Decent, not as many as I would ideally love to post in a year, but I did have a full-time job for most of this year, so let's relax, Brielle. I also 10x'd my subscriber count, which is actually nuts. I took a look, and at the beginning of the year, I only had like 700 subscribers, and now I've surpassed 7,000, so thank you. That's crazy. I also live streamed, I think 26 times this year, which is awesome. I moved to Seattle, had a huge life transition. I got to experience multiple months of working for myself, which I'm going to share more reflections about that in the upcoming month or two. And yeah, this was just a huge year. I'm so proud of myself this year. This has been the year that has felt like I've achieved the most of my goals and been the most aligned with what I want for myself and my future and my life. And that feels really exciting and really big. So I feel great about 2024, and I'm really excited to see what 2025 holds. I honestly have no idea what to expect, but I'm ready for the ride. Now let's get into chatting about 2025. Cool. So this is the page that I made for this year. Definitely a different vibe. I actually really like it. I think it turned out so cute. I'm a big fan of making fake photoshopped things as motivation or as manifestation. So you can see I have this banner that says my debut novel Unraveling is available for pre-order now. Honestly, just for fun, just to be ooh, one day I'll be able to actually say that. That's fun. So I strongly recommend, if you have any sort of vision boards or planning pages, giving yourself those little fake milestone visuals so that you can kind of see and taste and feel what that milestone would feel like. I find it to be very motivating. So the way that I'm structured this, on the left side, this is going to be where we do our planning essentially. So we're gonna have each month, I already filled out January as kind of like a template. I'm gonna have the month, the primary task, which is like just the main goal for that month, what I want to accomplish. I'm going to try and make this as specific as possible because I think another place where I went slightly wrong last year is I didn't actually have word count goals once I went into revision. And I noticed as soon as I stopped having word count goals was as soon as I fell off my schedule. So I want to be as concise, specific, and measurable for as many of these goals as I can. So I'm gonna have the primary task, hopefully with a number if possible, and then I'll have supporting habits, which I thought this was a fun idea, basically where I'll list habits that I'm going to put into place to help me achieve that goal. And I'm sure I'll tweak this throughout the year. We're going to go ahead and move past January after I take a sip of this matcha. So it is currently December. I'm trying to revise 25,000 words of draft 2 this month. If I also do 25,000 words successfully in January, I think that I should be on track to finish draft 2 in February. So finish draft 2. I'm not going to put a specific number on that because I don't know how many words will be left, but that's going to include getting to the end of the book as well as going back to the first 5 chapters because I actually have some beta reader feedback on the opening that I want to apply before I get into draft 3. So I'm going to keep the same habits for this. I wish that I had a specific number to put on that, but I truly just don't know how long this draft is going to end up being. And I don't know if I pass my 25K goals of December and January, how that's going to affect it. So we're just going to have to go with finish draft 2 for now. Once I finish draft 2, I want to get a printed copy, do a reread, and dive into draft 3. So if we're being realistic and not overly ambitious, March will probably have to be for getting new printed copy and rereading, make draft 3 revision checklist. For draft 3, I want to make a proper revision checklist rather than painstakingly going through every single word of this book again. I do want to do some polishing just in terms of like grammar, formatting, making sure that the book is readable and properly done so that that's not distracting for my beta readers. But I would like an actual revision checklist of things that I want to change. Realistically, that will probably take me the whole month. In terms of supporting habits, annotating is something I'm going to list because I will be annotating. And I would also like to do some reading in this month of other books, especially in the downtime when I'm waiting for the printed copy. Consuming other stories and kind of thinking of them critically would be a really great way for me to continue thinking about writing and fiction and what makes a good story without necessarily working on my specific project. So, okay, next going into April, obviously we'll be diving into draft 3. Like I said, I want draft 3 to be much less extensive than draft 2, but I also want to be realistic about how long it will take to get through what's probably going to end up being a 100K word manuscript. So maybe we aim to get through 50K words of draft 3 in April. That feels like a lot, but I'm like, I gotta get it moving. Like this is all before beta readers, you know? And then 50K words of draft 3 in March. And the habits for this are gonna be the same as the revising habits earlier. I'm also gonna put writing most days in these months as well as something that I really want to maintain. You know, I don't even think I need to put writing group in here as a habit because I'm gonna do that anyway. Like I'm literally the host of this writing group. I don't need to like think about that. So I think I'm gonna remove that. Okay. And then maybe I'll turn this pink. Cool. Oh, wait, March doesn't come after April. Am I okay? Okay, now we get into the summer. So June will be book 1 with beta readers. The debate here is, do I try to work on something else in June to keep my writing flowing? Do I revisit book 2? Or do I stay focused on this project? And honestly, my instinct is to stay focused on this project because I really want to get this project over the finish line. So I think that I might use this time to work on self-publishing tasks, whether that's purchasing ISBN numbers. I have some self-publishing tasks actually in this tiny to-do list in the bottom right corner. Obviously, this is like a tiny fraction of what I'll have to do, but it was just like the first things that came to mind. Getting character arc commissioned, working on, I don't know, the formatting, whatever that looks like. I feel like that could be a good thing to work on while the book is with beta readers so that I'm getting distance from the book itself. While the beta readers are working with it, I'm not touching the manuscript, but I'm working on the other components so that when the time for self-publishing comes, I can move along as soon as the manuscript is ready because I've already kind of started getting the gears turning with some of that self-publishing work. So that's the thought process there. So the habits here, I don't even know what I would make the habits. Researching self-pub, make a big checklist. yeah, that's what we're gonna go with. Now, getting into July, I'll get my beta reader feedback and I want to implement that feedback. Now, it's a little bit hard to gauge this without obviously knowing what the feedback is, because who knows how long it will take for me to implement those changes. But maybe the goal for July is just to go through that beta reader feedback and make another revision plan. Like, which notes from the beta readers do I want to integrate and how am I going to do that? Consolidating feedback as a habit here, and revision checklist, which should also probably be in March. Then in August, implementing beta reader changes in first half, 50K words. So I'll try to implement the beta reader changes in the first 50K words in August. This is where it gets dicey because like, it doesn't really make sense for me to be like tracking word count when it comes to just changing specific beta reader comments. So track beta doesn't really make sense. I could still be attending live streams and writing most days though. Those are like good core habits. And September, we'll aim to do the same. Cool. And then I want to do a line edit and a copy edit myself before I send to my copy editor. And I would really like to move through those steps of the process pretty quickly. So maybe the goal can be to send this off to my copy editor in January. I don't know. Let's just say I spend October and November line editing, like just prettying up the manuscript, making sure that I'm happy with the way that things are worded and all of that. So line editing, first half of the book, 50K words, and then November, line editing, second half of the book, 50K words. Habits for this will be writing most days. I don't know why write is in here. That's not supposed to be in there. That's funny. We'll use TrackBear for this since I'll be combing through the entire manuscript again and attending live streams. And then the same thing for November. And last but not least, in December, I'll do my copy edit before sending to copy editor in January, potentially. And we'll do the same habits here. So based on this little writing schedule, it's looking like my book will be heading to the copy editor at the beginning of 2026, meaning that I should be on track to publish a few months into 2026. I feel pretty good about this. I think it's realistic. If I'm being totally honest, I would love to move a little faster than this. I would love to get this book to my copy editor this year. That would be like best case scenario. That being said, this feels like a very already ambitious timeline. The amount of steps that are required to get a book done is crazy. And if you are looking to self-publish or publish or finish a project, I encourage you to map things out like this because it will give you quite a reality check in terms of just how long your process is going to take you. And I think it's important to look at things like this so that you don't end up getting frustrated when you realize just how extensive the process is and that it might take you a little bit longer than you were maybe hoping to get to your destination. So that's the schedule that we're going to keep for now. But like I said, if some miracle happens and I get some sort of like crazy energy boost and I start writing like 1,000,000 hours a day, and things change, then I will of course update the schedule. Maybe we'll do a reassessment about halfway through the year, see where we're at, and just kind of go from there. I never really talked about this, but over on the right-hand side, I ended up doing a section for encouragement. So this is just screenshots of comments that I've gotten of people saying that they're excited to read the book, and I think that's just super encouraging. Then we have this little checklist of milestones, so the overarching steps of the process that I need to achieve, and then my little self-publishing to-do list, which will become much, much longer as time passes. But yeah, that's what my plan for the year looks like. If all goes according to plan, by the end of this year, Unraveling will be completely through developmental edits, line edits, and on its way to a professional copy editor to prep for its publication. Apologies that you might not be getting your hands on this book this year, but I am excited about the fact that it looks like if I'm able to stick to these goals, it will be so close by the end of the year. So wishing you all the best with your writing and publishing goals, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.